already owned or in the hands of African Americans, and I think that's the Charlotte Hornets. The other teams I saw, like the Philadelphia 76ers, Will and Jada Smith have some interest there. The Nets, you have Jay-Z with some minor interest in the team. But in terms of principal ownership, there's just the Charlotte Hornet. And that seems to have an effect across the board. If you have African American ownership, African Americans in the front office, then you're probably going to have more African American coaches on the sidelines. You know, there are so many greats that never got an opportunity. You know, I mean, I grew up watching, you know, The Doctor, Magic, and Bird. You know, none of these guys ever got a chance to coach, to lead a team. Why do you think that is?
Well, one, I think that it's definitely different than playing, running a team. You know, you kind of have to like take all of that out of your mind in terms of how you think it is as a player, and you got to look at it as even though those players look at it as a business, it's still like another level of a business when you're running an organization. Now we're not the NBA or anything like that, so I'm not going to speak to like we are, but just some of the things that we encounter as ownership. He has a son that's played basketball. He plays. I'm pretty sure he's ran into some things in this situation that we're like haven't seen. I've played, you know, not at the highest level, but I played college basketball. I didn't play Division I or nothing like that. But we've seen certain things that were like, yo, we never ran into this. So I mean, I think that, you know, because Magic did own L.A. Had ownership in L.A. He didn't own the team, but he had ownership. So, but that was baseball.
The Dodgers.
Yeah, the Dodgers. So, I don't know, and I don't want to speak to them why they wouldn't. I can only assume that because those owners that are there, you know, they stay around for a while.
Absolutely.
They stay around for a while, and you got to pay a pretty penny to, you know, we all know what happened to LA Clippers and how much he had to get in.
Right.
You know, you're talking about billions. So, you know, I think that, you know, money comes into play, finances, and, you know, just the opportunity, really. I think the opportunity is the biggest thing. The opportunity might not have never presented itself, you know, so that's my opinion. I don't know how James feels.
I second that, to be perfectly honest with you. When you come down to it, the NBA is a totally different level. The TBL is not out here trying to say they're the NBA. But as we sit here today, they're basically ranked third in North American sports behind the NBA and the G League for their organizational structure, or for what the opportunity they, you know, offer these young men. Okay, the way they give back to their community. Basically, the model, the business model itself is built really to be successful.
Well, even on the level of TBL, when you have black ownership, African American ownership, you're probably, as I said, you're going to have those coaches on the sideline that reflect the ownership. And probably what happens in the NBA, in the NFL, and even in Major League Baseball, the owners may not be familiar with players of color. Oh, you see them out on the field, right, on the court, but in terms of your familiarity with them, right, and their abilities, you see it, you know, in terms of playing, the organizational skills, the managerial skills, they might not really be familiar with that. You know what I mean? You tend to deal with people that you're familiar with, people that you've had interactions with. And the interaction between play and life is a little different. But what the TBL does offer is opportunity. And for, you know, some young man who may be listening and who has a dream of playing basketball, but who may not have gone to college. Parents couldn't afford it. Grades may have slipped, but still have that dream. The TBL does offer that. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, definitely.
Because there have been players who went from the TBA onto the NBA, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
The TBL currently, right, as we sit here, has placed I believe it is 4 people in the NBA,
Mhm.
another almost a dozen in the G League.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and when it comes to overseas contracts where guys leave us, elevate, okay, and part of the contract that we have with these players, okay, they sign a contract just like any other pro league,
Mm-hmm.
okay, is that we have an agreement with them that, hey, if they get an offer even in the middle of our season, okay, we're allowed to release them so they can go on and pursue their dream at a higher level. And to date, almost 200 young men have left the TBL and played all over the world.
So, I guess you're constantly recruiting and looking for new talent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so, for those of you young men that are watching right now that have a dream but don't really know how to go about it, you might want to reach out to the TBL. You might want to reach out to one of these two gentlemen, especially if you're here in Northeast Pennsylvania and you've played and you have some talent but just need to develop it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to offer 4 free tickets to the first caller who can correctly answer a simple question. When was the last time the New York Knicks won a championship? First caller, 4 tickets to this Sunday's game. And this Sunday you're playing against Reading, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, so what's the prediction? Come on, Kendrick, what's the prediction for Sunday?
Obviously, we're gonna win. That's the prediction.
Okay, by big margin, small margin, what do you think?
We're still gelling. We're still, we've added some a new player, Terrence Roderick, who's a home face for the Lehigh Valley,
Mhm.
area. So I know he's still gelling. The team's still getting used to him. So I don't want to go too high, too overestimate. But I think that we'll win. I'm gonna say maybe 12 points.
Okay. James, what do you think?
I second that. I see us having a very strong performance.
Oh, we have a caller already. Somebody might have the right answer. Caller, you're with Ron and Romane, Reason for Reason. Where you calling from?
This is Romane calling.
Romane.
Wanted to know if I qualify. Wanted to know if I qualify for good tickets.
Well, if you're the first caller and you get the correct answer, yes, you qualify.
Okay, you gotta ask me the question.
Okay. The question is, for 4 free tickets to the Lehigh Valley Legends game on Sunday, when was the last time the New York Knicks won a championship? And you cannot Google it.
Please, I'm not getting those tickets.
Oh, but you're from Harlem.
I'm
This-
not gonna get the tickets. I don't really do basketball like that. So
Okay.
thank you guys for coming on the show. Much support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, Romane, did you get my text?
I did.
Okay. So let me just throw this out there. One of these young men is single. I'm not going to say which one, right? Just in case we have some ladies who may be interested in basketball or may have some romantic interest.
Just for the record, only one of us here is really young.
So I don't want to throw anybody under the relationship bus, but just thought I would mention that. A successful single team owner.
Down there, soulmate, or Vaughn and Romane's Reason for Reason. So maybe he should make himself known, right?
Okay,
And
so
let the audience know that he's open to a nice.
it looks like we have another call coming in who may have the answer. But you know what we're going to do before we let you go? All of us who are unmarried, raise their hand. Okay, so now we got the answer.
Wait, unmarried right now?
Unmarried. Okay, Romane, I think we lost our caller.
Nope. You got
Oh, my goodness, Ron. You see? Okay,
Yeah.
you have to stay focused. Good night, guys.
Okay, good night. We'll hope to see you next
Thanks for
Tuesday.
calling.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
All right, bye-bye.
Right.
Only one hand went up. Let the record state.
Yeah, we did see one hand go up, right? And that's I mean, another hand I guess could have gone up, but only one did. So We kind of put you on the spot, brother.
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay, all right.
You know,
Okay.
I've been on the spot for some time now, so
Okay, all right.
I'm used to it.
So, folks, again, let me give you the phone number here. The number is 888-304-4401. Again, 888-304-4401. Call if you want to win these tickets to the Lehigh Valley Legends game this Sunday. They're playing Reading, and we have a prediction of a 12-point win. And, folks, let me just tell you, I have attended the last 2 games, and it is a great time. There's a DJ there, there's music, good family atmosphere, and it's affordable. You're not going to find this level of entertainment for this amount of money trying to go to places like Philly or New York. You're not going to get a ticket to watch Into the Garden for $20.
I mean,
It's
you
not
could-
going to happen.
Could, but it might be high up.
Well, for $20, you're going to be sitting out by the garbage,
Yeah.
by the garbage
Yeah,
dumpsters,
basically.
right? You're not getting in for that amount of money. So, folks, again, 888-304-4401. And the question is, the first caller who can... Oh, we have a caller who may have the right answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Caller, welcome to the show. You're on with Ron and Roman A. Reason for Reason. Where you calling from?
I'm actually calling from Texas, but if I happen to get the right answer, I would like to give the 4 tickets to the Deserving family.
Okay. That's very kind of you.
I would guess 92. I know it was the early 90s. I didn't Google or anything. I might be off, but that's my guess.
That's a good guess. Sorry, but that's not the correct answer. But,
Well,
It
thank you guys. I appreciate y'all.
all right. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
calling.
Thank you for calling.
You're very welcome.
All right. You have a good night.
Ron, let's remind the folks that they can get those tickets at LehighValleyLegends.com.
That's, yes, or you can purchase them at the box office.
Correct.
Yes, you can.
Yes.
And folks, I know that, I guess when you drew up your market plan, your marketing plan, you focus mostly on the Lehigh Valley, because that's where the team plays their games. We should mention that you practice here locally.
Yes.
You practice at Northampton Community College, and that's why I had the pleasure of meeting these 2 gentlemen. And for those of us up here that may have been unaware that there is a professional team operating right here in Northeast Pennsylvania, now you know. And if you're at home on Sunday and you really don't have much to do, come out. The games are played at William Allen High School on 17th Street, right?
Yes.
17th Street in Allentown. And, you know, as I said, I've been at least 2 of these games, and I had a great time. They're exciting games, family atmosphere, and lots of good music. So now, guys, what does it take to be an owner? I mean, I guess most people, you know, when you say basketball owner, they figure, oh, you got to spend millions and millions of dollars to have to, you know, to purchase a franchise. What steps do you take for those who may be listening, who have a dream of maybe putting together a team and joining the TBL? What does it entail?
For you, sir.
Definitely you gotta have a plan.
Mhm.
You gotta have a plan of where you're gonna market it, where you're gonna put the team.
Mm-hmm.
That's like probably the first.
Welcome to the show. You're on with Ron and Roman A. Reason for
Going
Reason.
off of our experience when I brought the information to James, I think one of his questions was, well, where we're gonna put it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I wasn't as experienced in the Lehigh Valley area. I think he knew the area a little bit, probably just as much as me.
Mm-hmm.
But not like this, not to put an actual team there. But that was the first thing we thought about was the Lehigh Valley area. It's Allentown, which is the 3rd largest city in Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and with Bethlehem and Easton, you know, right behind it, it's just a growing and thriving, you know, area.
Mhm.
So that was like the no-brainer to put it there. So I think the first option is to, you know, figure out, you know, how you want to do it, the market plan, and where you want to put it.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess once you do that, then you kind of just gotta figure out, you know, what's gonna be, you know, how are you gonna market it? How are you gonna market the players? You know, are you gonna get out in the community, which is, you know, definitely something that the TBL requires us to do
Mm-hmm.
in terms of connecting with the community and giving back. So, marketing to the community, really start to, kind of get a feel for the area. For Lehigh Valley, I mean, there's baseball and there's hockey, but there's no basketball currently. There has been, basketball in the past, the Allentown Jets and then the Lehigh Valley Dogs, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so, both great establishments, both, had a great run. But currently it's just baseball and hockey. So we felt that it was a great, it was just time to get basketball back into that area. So I think those two things is probably first. James handles a lot of the business aspect of it, so I'm gonna let him take that over.
Okay.
In today's climate in business, obviously everything's all about your brand. Okay, so what we wanted to do was build a foundation that basically when the storms do come, we could weather them. Okay, we felt like building a strong foundation, getting to know the people that are, influences in the city of Allentown and the surrounding areas, okay, was very important. Okay, so we did some legwork for that, basically about a year's worth of legwork on that level. And then it just became a time to implement our business plan, bringing on the right people, bringing on some local people. Our director of business relations, his name is Edward White. Okay, he's from Edward White Strategies. Okay, he came on a short-term basis, and the way things have gone, he'll probably be with us long-term as well.
That's the Energizer Bunny.
That's the Energizer
Bunny.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, you met him. For someone, so for someone in his early 60s,
right,
that gentleman has more energy than my 4-year-old grandson.
Yes,
and me.
Yeah.
And he's done exceptional work for us, okay, in terms of getting us into, meet the right people. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the sponsors that we have already in place. St. Luke's Health, St. Luke's Hospital, along with St. Luke's Sports Medicine. John Health is the director there. He made a commitment to us, right? Not just a, toe in the water commitment, but a, 4-year agreement, okay, to sponsor us throughout. We also have Big Frog here in Stroudsburg, which is a printing company, right? They do custom tees and do a lot of our apparel. Okay. La Vida Cafe, right, on North 6th Street, attached to the Americas Hotel. Okay, that's our primary caterer, right? Eli is the owner there, takes good care of our players on game day, as well as us when we stop in. Okay, be sure to get a chance to come down and visit him. Okay, the Americas Hotel is the team hotel. It's a beautiful hotel right in the middle of downtown Allentown. Okay, obviously it has a rich history. It's been around basically almost 100 years. Okay, they recently remodeled it during COVID. You have all the modern amenities, but you still have the historic look that hotel is proud for. They stand behind being, hosting some of the, people that we've known throughout history. Richard Nixon spent the night there. Okay, so there's some really deep-rooted history, right, within some of the people that we've partnered with. Okay, we're proud to have those people on board as our sponsors. Okay, Diversified Group is a company based in Maryland, operated out of Atlanta. Okay, young lady there that, is a big part of what we do. Okay, Janelle Brom, right, they offer janitorial service to a lot of federal and different city municipalities. Okay, and they're a major player as well in terms of sponsoring us. So we want to make sure that, we show appreciation, okay, to the way that they cater to, our needs, right, as an organization and to our players' needs.
Well, for people who are sitting at home right now who may be preparing to write up a business plan, what would be the first step? Now, you talked about identifying a regional location. Then I guess for somebody who wanted to purchase a franchise, I guess you have to acquire franchise licensing and things of that nature. So what would be startup cost?
Well, the startup cost for the TVL, right, as opposed to 2 years ago, has risen. It's basically we sit here now with already equity in hand, okay, based on our initial investment. Okay, those conversations take place between the Magleys and the persons that are interested. Okay, we were at our owners' meetings in Indianapolis first week in February during our, during the league draft weekend as well. And it was reported that the new entry price is north of $450,000, okay, $450,000 right, to purchase a franchise. Okay, operating budgets vary depending on team. Okay, but the league recommends that your normal year-to-year operating budget is somewhere in the 150s to 200,000 as we sit here today.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's pretty affordable. You know, if someone were to be interested and they were to get, I guess, together with other people who also shared that dream, you can pretty much raise that money pretty easily.
Yeah.
There are teams out there that have, multiple ownerships. There are teams out there that have boards. Okay, based on our, status when we, decided to partner, and the fact that we had a relationship going back almost 10 years, knowing each other. Hendrik's always been a forward thinker for a young man, and I've always had a, sense of business, right? So we had a mutual respect on that. And based on our financial situations, we decided that we would, take the venture together, right? And, try to keep it, a close circle in terms of the ownership level.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So now let's talk about recruitment of players.
Mhm.
Because we have so many young men who have dreams of playing professional basketball. So where did you do most of your recruiting? Let's start with you, Kendrick.
Well, most of our recruiting came from, we have players from, New York, New Jersey, Philly, locally, which was very huge for us. We thought that being a new team in the just in that area, it was, very important to make sure we had that, that household name.
Mm-hmm.
So that was, definitely important. But the recruiting for us was, kind of started back in October when we had, our tryouts.
Mm-hmm.
And, having our tryouts, you get players from, DMV area, you get players from Philly, you get players from New York, you get players from Jersey, you get players from kind of just all over, the metropolitan area. And, it's a great feeling,
Mhm.
because you get to, see the fire in their eye and see, the interest that they have, that they want to be a part of your organization. But that's kind of how the recruiting process goes. We have a head coach who, we was there, but we have a head coach who, has his assistant, and they go through the process in terms of weeding out, players. Normally what we did this year, because we was a new team, is we would bring players into the next tryout.
Mm-hmm.
So that gave them the opportunity to be able to, let's say we like them, we didn't just say, okay, October you can come see us in January in training camp.
Mhm.
That's a long time. That's about 2-3 months. Anything can happen. So what we did was we just kind of, kept them fresh, and we would tell them to come to the next tryout, and we get to see them there, but we get to see them with another group of players.
Mm-hmm.
Group of players, see how they act, see how they interact with the players, see how they play. Because if we're investing time and money, we want to make sure that, the player is, I don't want to say worth the while or worth the money, but it's an investment.
Right.
Each player is an investment, and any investment that you go into, you know that's a positive and negative, but you try to cut out the negatives as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's how we kind of did our trials this year. Next season will definitely be a little bit different, but again, the first year, that's the way that we thought that would be the best to get the players that we have now.
Mm-hmm. Now, some of the players that you have some professional experience playing overseas, right? I think
Correct.
that you have maybe 2-3 players that played overseas.
We have about 5.
5 that played overseas.
I'd say 4. Right.
4.
Well, let's go back to the process.
Okay.
Okay, we have like the human cheat code. It's almost like the secret sauce. I'm going to give you guys the recipe.
Okay.
So basically what took place is when we decided to go down this road, I know very limited basketball people, even though my son played a lot of AAU ball
Mhm.
and played some high school ball. So therefore, I reached out to the people that I knew that knew the game. Okay, and the diamond in the diamond in it all, right? The gem whose name kind of resonates a lot in New York City area. Okay, our head coach Antoine Dobie
Mm-hmm.
was actually originally our director of player personnel. Okay, and skill developer. That's what he came on as. And his words to me were, I don't know if I'll be able to coach for you. I doubt I will be, right? Because he's heavily involved in his own AAU program. But by the way, that's Elite Academy, right? Okay, Antoine Dovey Elite Academy. That's right out of Strasbourg, right here in the area. Okay, where he takes young men and take them to the next level of their game. Anyway, so Antoine basically said to me, I'm going to come down to your tryouts. I'm going to check out everything that you get in, okay? And then we'll break it down, and then I'll get you what you need.
Right.
Okay, so coming out of tryouts, we have 3 gentlemen on the team, right, that made it all the way through the tryouts, right? The other 10 gentlemen that make up our current roster, right, were basically people that were recruited, right, by Mr. Dovey, right, except for Terrence Roderick, who basically, right, was someone that was linked to a current player on the team, and once he got back from Argentina, he decided that he wanted to come on board because he heard positive things about us. And it's his first time to play pro level ball in his city that he made his name in, okay, coming out of high school. Okay, so when it comes to the players that we have, okay, those overseas players that we talk about, obviously Terrence Roderick, okay, has played 13 years in the highest markets overseas. He's played in Italy, right? He's played several places, okay. Dwight Hardy, right, is a 10-year veteran, okay. He played overseas also in the highest markets, Turkey, different places as well. He actually led St. John's to NCAA appearance in 2009, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, and that was their first appearance in quite a while. Okay, he's a Big East Comeback Player of the Year in his time coming out of college. Okay, we have another gentleman, Scotty Tyler, who played in Spain, right, a couple of years ago. He's making his way back from an Achilles injury, but it still has a lot of basketball in him and brings a lot to the table. Okay, so that's how we went about building the team and some of the people that come with that overseas experience and that pro experience, which is very important. Joshua Williams is another gentleman, right? He also actually went to ESU, okay, and he lives locally, right? And based on the fact that he has a newborn at home, he wanted to play locally, and we were perfect timing for his situation. Okay, he's a gentleman that could easily be playing overseas at the moment, but he'd rather stay home close to the family and provide something for the city as we're building. Okay, but he does have overseas experience as well.
So that does bring credibility to the team.
Absolutely.
And we have people who've played at the highest level.
Yes.
Yeah. So, folks, again, every Sunday they play down at William Allen High School. And again, this is a great time, competitive games. And tell us a little bit, how long does the season run?
The season, it runs about 3 months. It starts it's March 4th this year, and it runs until May 29th, regular season. And when we make playoffs, then we'll be moving into, I think, June 26th. That's when the playoffs would end. So roughly 4 months.
So there is a championship at some point?
Yes.
Okay. So, and that's in June?
Yes.
Okay. That kind of runs up against the NBA championship, doesn't it? Around the same time?
Yeah.
Ah, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
If you put it like that. Yeah.
Okay. And what's your prediction?
NBA?
No.
Oh, us?
I'm talking about the team.
I mean, we're right there.
Mm-hmm.
We're right there. We're looking. I mean, if you look last year, the Indy Outlaws, a new team, a new organization, won the championship, went all the way.
First year. Wow.
First year. So I mean, it's doable. So we're trying to follow suit.
Mm-hmm. And you said that you still are kind of looking for new talent.
Yeah, because we have that clause in the contract where players can, if they do get an opportunity, we are allowed to let them go. If they want to stay, they can stay, but we have to let them go. They can get out of their contract. We're always recruiting. So, not necessarily tryouts at this point. In terms of the tryouts happens, in the October, November phase. Now it's like whoever comes on, they got to have some experience. They got to come from overseas and things like that because we need them to kind of like jump right in and adjust to the team, So that's kind of how it is for when we're in the season.
So if you have, let's say, the next LeBron James, and he just shows up at practice and wants to go out on the court and demonstrate his ability.
Shows up without talking to any of us.
Well, you know what? Sometimes that kind of happens, because I mean it's open campus, right?
Yeah.
And they, word gets out like somebody may be listening right now. They'll hear that, well, they practice at Northampton Community College. It's an open campus. I might just want to stroll in and watch practice. And then you know what? Let me just go and show these guys what I can do.
Well, first, we have security for that, so we might not.
We do.
You might not be able to get that far on the court, because we got to protect our players. But we cannot allow any player that's not under contract on our floor or with our players. So it would have to start with talking with us, talking with the head coach, and figure things out first.
So if you have a really talented player, right, that wanted to become part of the team, what would they do?
They would talk with. It depends. Like if they come in contact with myself or James or both of us, we can talk to them. But that's not our team. I mean, that's our team, but that's Antoine's team. So we would refer the information to Antoine, give him our synopsis and what we think of the player, and then ultimately it's Antoine and Sam, which is the Sam Casey, who's the assistant coach. It's their decision at the end of the day. So that's how that would go. If Antoine runs into somebody, he can take them. He talks to us in terms of financial stuff, but other than that, we back our head coach and our assistant coach 100%.
I mean, for example, when Terrence Roderick wanted to come on board and reached out, still the first call I made was to our head coach. Okay. Out of the way we structure our organization, he has to say so about personnel. Okay, we value his opinion, we respect his opinion. Antoine played 13 years overseas himself. He's a Hall of Famer out of LIU in Brooklyn. Okay, and like I said, his name is his name when it comes to basketball. So he's taught me a lot about the game itself, as well as the business side of the game. He was a point guard, so he sees the game from a point guard perspective and actually coaches it from a point guard perspective, which I think brings a lot to our team. Okay, and when it comes to even down to our budget, okay? He's been in different organizations to know what certain organizations need, what they should pay for it, things of that nature, and we value his opinion 100%. Okay, so anybody that comes by us, anybody that's recommended to us, we defer to him in terms of what the team needs at the time, okay, and what role he sees for that particular individual.
So now, Kendrick mentioned that you two play basketball when you played in college.
Yeah.
Did you play?
No, I did not. I fell into basketball later in life because this is what you can't get too many men over 35 or 40 that want to play football.
Right.
So therefore, I started going down to the gym on Sundays, playing pickup ball with people in my different age group. And then these young guys, come in here and you can't get them off the court.
Right.
They do things like walk in at, like we start at 8:30, they walk in as a group at 9:30. So they're the next four up or whatever. We play half courts. A great group of gentlemen, they call themselves the Fellas. We played on Sunday mornings, right, at PV Middle School gym during the school year. And then when the weather warms up, we play at Chestnut Hill Park. Okay, and that's been going on. I mean, I was part of them for the last 8 to 9 years, and they were doing it for a few years before I even met those gentlemen.
Oh, okay.
And that gentleman's name is Chris Curry, right? Al Smith, right? David Bell. Those gentlemen have been around forever. Rick Henry, right? Eugene Leslie, right? They play there every Sunday morning, right, between 8:30 and 12 noon.
Well, for young people, and I'm talking young people, elementary school, junior high school, who have some talent, what do you think about player development for younger people who may want to one day play for the TBL, play for Lehigh Valley Legends?
Well, I tell them the cheat code, right? Antoine Dobie, his academy has a couple of players already that are ranked at their age group, okay, both statewide and locally, of course. And to be perfectly honest with you, right, the reason I built that relationship with Antoine is my son, as he was playing, right, as a teenager, he went to a lot of different, trainers, people that call themselves basketball trainers. Antoine calls himself a skill developer. He takes pride in making sure that he develops a young man's individual skills and then puts it together to make him a better player, a more complete player. Okay, and I personally always recommend him. Okay, he doesn't, he's not doing it for the fame or the fortune. He's not attaching himself to the next LeBron to say, hey, I trained that kid. He treats every kid that wants the ability, right, that wants the opportunity to get better the same way. He's going to be tough on them the same way he would be on his own. Okay, he's going to be gentle with them when need be. Okay, but at the end of the day, when you leave him, right, you're a better, more complete ball player.
Okay. Because I know that was the discussion I had earlier with a mother. She has a son that just absolutely loves basketball. She told me everything in his room is basically decorated, with a basketball motif. And that he's playing on the team but doesn't get a lot of playing time. So I suggested to her that maybe what he needs is player development, learning the fundamentals of basketball. And I think that's one of the things that may be missing in today's game. Years ago, people won championships by playing good fundamental basketball. And nowadays, it seems more to be about
San Antonio.
Right. More to be about flash than about playing fundamental basketball, good sound fundamental basketball. Yeah.
Well, I'll be perfectly honest with you. Favorite coaches, okay, he coaches at the college level, okay, and the bottom line is, coaches look for fundamental basketball before they look for the flashy guy, okay, because that's the guy, the fundamental guy is the one that gels with your team and makes the people around him better.
Right.
Okay, and you tell that young man, you tell his mother, right, basically get with a skill developer, okay, and work on the basics of the game, okay, and the coaches that he plays for as he grows will see the change in him, okay, and then he'll get those minutes.
Okay. So we only have a few minutes left. So do you think our question was too hard? Do you think it was too difficult for our listeners?
I didn't even know that.
Okay. You know what? In the last few minutes, we're going to let's give them an easier question. Let's see.
Who sells the most sneakers? Who sells the most basketball shoes?
Okay, you know what? Let's try that.
Name the athlete.
The first caller
That's easy.
who can
Exactly.
who calls in
Currently playing?
Yeah.
Oh,
and can identify the player, present or former, that sells the most sneakers will win 4 tickets to this Sunday's game. So let me give you the number again, 888-304-4401.
Do we know the answer? I know the answer.
Okay, I would guess. So the first question that I asked was, when did the Knicks win the last championship? The Knicks won their last championship in 1973. So maybe a lot of us weren't out around during that time. I was here.
You just told your age.
I was here, but that may have been difficult. So that may have been too difficult for some of our listeners. So if you can identify the player, past or present, that sells the most sneakers, you win these tickets. So we only have a few minutes left. So if you want to come to the game, and folks, you will enjoy these games. They are very entertaining, and it is good family fun. So if you want to win these tickets to Sunday's game, give us a call and just tell us who sells the most sneakers. So guys, it was great, that you could come on and share with us. I know that a lot of people in this area, in this market, did not know. I mean, I didn't know until running into you after college, and I think it's important for us up here to know that we have a team, right here in Northeast Pennsylvania, and that it is controlled by African Americans. That's important for us to know, because we have a lot of young people who have dreams of sports and where it can take them, and some may one day want to own a team. So there's a lot of information they need, and hopefully some of their questions were answered today. Because I know I had tons of questions thinking about it, like, how do you become a franchise owner? That's got to be, it's got to be very expensive. You have to have lots of money, lots of backing, and of course, sponsorships. Yeah.
And Ron, don't let me be negligent in mentioning the fact that on April 3rd we'll be having what we consider our flagship game. We're at the PPL Center downtown Allentown, okay, where we'll be playing the Albany Patrons, the team that we actually defeated for the franchise first ever victory. Okay, that will be April 3rd at 3 p.m. at the PPL Center downtown Allentown.
Okay. Well, I will definitely be there. Yeah, that is a game I look forward to. The PPL Center.
Absolutely.
Nice big venue.
Yes.
Yeah, and hopefully the seats will be filled. And folks, again, that date is April 3rd at the PPL Center in Allentown. Come on down, fill those stands, and support these two gentlemen and support the team. It is your home team. So, folks, we have about 2 minutes left. Does anyone know the answer to that question? Who sells the most sneakers? Give us a call and win these tickets because, again, this is a great franchise in a great market.
Well,
So-
you know you're gonna have to leave them tickets with you, right?
I guess
And I'm gonna tell you why. Because with the delay
right.
and with the video that's going out there, people are gonna look at the video on social network and they're gonna say, "Oh, I know that answer,"
Right.
and they're gonna call into the station.
Oh, yeah.
And you're gonna be long gone. you
Okay,
know?
okay.
Well, in that case, put it out there that you could have 4 sets of family of 4 packages.
Okay, that
Okay.
sounds good. That sounds
Well,
good.
we can do that. Okay, so there'll be 4 sets of tickets for, or is it 3 or 4 sets?
4 sets.
Okay, 4 sets of tickets for
Family of 4.
family of 4 for the person that can answer correctly who sells the most sneakers, player past or present. And if you know, well, I already told the answer what time when the next one. So anyway, we're just going to deal with the sneaker question. If you have the correct answer, call in to the station and the tickets will be here for you. Or we can arrange for you to pick them up at the box office if you cannot make it to the station.
You might want to clarify the first 4 people that answer it correctly.
Yes, the first 4 people.
Because that first
Right.
guy is going to think he's getting 16 tickets.
No. The first 4 people that call in with the correct answer will get the ticket. So I hope to see you at the game. Matter of fact, if you get there and you want a ticket, you know, just say hello so we'll know who you are. But anyway, gentlemen, it was again a pleasure to have you on. And hopefully we can have you back at a later date. We can talk about the success of the team, how well they're doing. And maybe going down the road, hopefully, maybe we can get a game up here. Just maybe one game out of the year. Maybe next year. Just one game at a venue here.
Well, maybe they can come and do an exhibition on August 27th. We having our Union Community Day in Dansbury Park here, and we was actually looking to have a basketball game or something in the park that day.
Right.
Okay.
Well, that's after the season, but it's a possibility.
We can talk about it.
We can talk about it. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Absolutely.
Well, folks, thank you for joining us on Ron and Roman A. Reason for Reason. And I want to say again thanks to my guests, Kendrick and James. And please, continue to support Gynesis Radio and also support the Lehigh Valley Legends. All right, thank you, folks, and good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right.
Good job, sir. Thank you.
Yes. So with our headphones on, they can't hear us out here. Like they can't. So it's quiet.
Right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're once the
Um,
headphone goes dead, the mic is dead.
Yeah. The mic's there.
I got to give you 2 more. Because that's, there's only 3 complete sets.
Okay.
It's just 2 tickets short.
All right.
So, I didn't think about the delay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, folks gonna look at this here and they're gonna